Hi everybody. Today we're going to create our first Unity project, and we're going to do the infamous Hello World. Let me see if my desktop shortcut works. So I want to create a new project, and my project is going to be named Hello World. And I want to change the location. As you'll see, my computer doesn't like it when I change location when I'm not connected to the network. Seems to be a special feature. So what I'm going to be doing is, when it responds, I'm going to go to a specific folder location where I'd like to save this project, and I'm going to create a new folder for it. And I'm going to create a folder named Project 1 Hello World. Come on. I know, it's hard to believe that it's actually waiting and taking this long. It seems like it's something that I've done wrong. I think we'll eventually respawn. Yay! Okay, so I want to save it on my external, and I think I'm going to create a new folder. Oops. I'll just leave that junk there. So in my CIS220 folder, I'm going to create a new folder. I already have one for in-class projects, but I want to create a new one, and this will be Special Projects. And then inside that one, I'm going to create a new folder, Project 1 Hello World. And that's the folder that I'm going to select. And then I'm going to create this project. Now, as you're working with Unity, make sure that you never change a project name while you have Unity running, because of course you could totally get everything all confused. Once you have Unity up and running, you can go to your project pane. Here's my project pane. Down here, you can right-click anywhere and show in Explorer, and that'll show you this project folder in an Explorer window. And yours will work much better than mine, so I'll let you try that. Okay, so in your Assets folder, you'll see that when you open things in that Explorer window, there it is, you'll have an Assets folder that matches the one you have in your project. You can drag and drop assets into this folder using Windows Explorer, but it's recommended that you not do that, that you just drag and drop your assets into the folders within Unity. When you're working using the Windows Explorer, changes that you make may not be reflected correctly in your project. So it's best if you just go ahead and always use Unity to do that. I'm going to close this Asset Store window. Don't need that tab open. Now you see that we have a pretty empty scene here. We have a camera. It's not letting me do that. Being totally uncooperative. But we have our camera and a directional light, and those things are fine. We're going to add a C# script. So I'm going to go to my project pane, and choose Create C# script. Shows up as an asset, and we would like to name this script Hello World. Notice that it's a .cs file because we're doing our development with C#. Now I'm going to close also this Services tab so that my inspector window is more readily available. And notice over here that since this asset is selected, you're seeing the actual C# code inside the C# script file here in the inspector, but that's not where we're going to edit it. If you double click your C# asset, it should open in Visual Studio because, you know, we installed the Visual Studio extensions. You might also see a tool called Monodevelop that is the standard editor that comes with Unity for editing different pieces of code. So depending on how you have things installed and the way your system is set up, you might not actually be seeing Visual Studio. It's the first time I've opened Visual Studio using Unity, so it's establishing all of the connections. Mad at me for TFS still, as usual. Always. Now, once it opens in Visual Studio, I should see my Hello World script. I have all sorts of other wonderful things going on with that beautiful Team Explorer. There's my Solution Explorer. Let me close out of some things here so we can see our code. Notice that the default script has a start method and an update method. Our class name is the name that we chose for our C# script file. We have appropriate using files in for our Unity stuff, and we're inheriting from the mono behavior class of Unity, and this is what gives us the ability to override the start and update methods within Unity so that we can do things at specific points within our program. Now, within the start method, I'd like to print hello world. Go ahead and use my semicolon, and I don't want to be opening and closing Visual Studio all the time, so I'm going to do a save all and minimize to go back to Unity. We see the difference there in our script. Now, right now, if we run our game, it still wouldn't really do anything because we haven't associated this code with any game object in our hierarchy frame. Remember, things have to be in our hierarchy frame for them to be included in the scene. So we're going to click on our main camera, and when our main camera is exposed in the inspector, let's see what we can do. Can we drag our Hello World script onto that? We sure can. And look, now in our inspector we see our Hello World script associated with our main camera. We also could have added component and done it that way. Many different ways that we can do it within Unity. But now if we play our game, we should see our Hello World message on the console. Let me try it. Yay, there's our Hello World message. So we've got one message. Now let's go back to Visual Studio. And in our code, we're going to comment out the print statement within our start method. And we're going to move it to our update method. Save it. And minimize. And now I'm going to stop and run again. And when we run again, we should see our message, Hello World, repeatedly. And what we're seeing is that this is being printed every time our frame is being refreshed. And depending on our frame rate, it's probably about 60 frames per second. So I'm going to stop playing it. So you see the difference between the start method, which occurs once when the game is begun or started, and the update method, which is run every time a frame is refreshed. So that's a great little start with Unity for us to see how we can work a little bit with C#. So I'll be right back and continue on.